Hello, beautiful beings of light. What if I told you that you can never go back to this old normal, to what we call the old normal, or what I say, the old ways before you knew, and you can never go back to that. So I wanted to do a video to explain where we are going from here and where we go on a personal level and as a collective. And actually, no matter what is going on right now, this is really positive, even though it does not feel like it. And I know that the reality for some is absolutely horrendous. But what I'm trying to explain is the process that is happening right now. So we can never go back once we know. That is the message today. I want to explain it on two different levels, on a personal level and also on a collective level. So on a personal level, when we are in that part of life where we know that we want something different, we call it we want something better, maybe a better job, maybe we want our relationships, not just that intimate relationship, but relationships, connections, friendships, at work, whatever it is, when we relate to people, we want something better. When we want better health, when we want more adventure, we just decide that no matter where we are, there is something else that we can have. It doesn't matter how much money you have, but somewhere deep down you feel that you want something else. So we ask for it. We ask, we say it, we think about it, we put it out there. And then we may be more specific. It gets to a time where we just say, no, this is it. We go through a difficult time and this is it. I am serious about this now. I want to improve my life. I want to create something different. I just want something better or something different. So once we decide that, what we are doing is that we've put that out there. So we're now looking for a path, for that solution, for that way. It doesn't matter whether you are looking for that consciously, meaning you are now looking for a coach or a therapist or a counselor, whatever it is. It doesn't mean that you are doing it consciously, but you are definitely putting it out there, the vibration that you are putting it out there. So what happens is that then you are sent opportunities. A friend might say, hey, guess what? I'm seeing a life coach at the moment and oh my God, it's absolutely fantastic. And you think, wow, I think that's what I would like to do. I have been asking for something like this, so I'm going to do that, you see. But what happens is that you are now on that trajectory of, yes, I definitely know I want something else, right? So you go and you now start coaching, counseling, therapy, whatever it is. But so let's just say you now start coaching and your eyes are being open because you are now given some information. You are now challenging yourself. You are now being questioned, or you questioning yourself through the coach about what it is that you are, where have you been, where you are now, and where do you want to go. And then you start exploring all this, and so much comes your way in the form of information. You are now getting in touch with some emotions. You are looking at your truth. There is a whole process. But ultimately what happens in that process is that you have had your eyes open and you cannot go back now. You cannot go back. That's it. So you might say, well, yes, because I don't have to take action, you see. I can go back to my life as it was, absolutely. But you see, you might decide to go back to that, but you're not that same person anymore. It's not you as it was before. So what happens is that now, knowing what you know, feeling how you feel, and all that has been happening, you've opened your eyes to that. You go back to that if you want to, absolutely. But it can never be the same. Now you know what is happening. And you might decide to stay there for various reasons, right? So it could be that you decide to stay because you still have doubts. You have doubt that you can move forward, right? So you have some doubts. You might have insecurities. Oh my gosh, but I'm not good enough. That's really not for me. Whatever it is, you might have fear of the unknown, because of course, even though now you know that there is a different world, or there is a different way, or you have got in touch with your desire or desires or your dreams, whatever it is, but it's still a bit part of the unknown. You have to step out of your comfort zone, and you might decide, no, not yet. It could be fear of everything, fear that you might lose people when you're moving forward, right? You might lose some security, you might lose something. And so what happens is that you stay put. But for how long? And that is the challenge here. For how long? You can be in denial. You can decide, no, I'm not going to think about this. You can, but ultimately, you are not that same person as you were before you knew what was really happening, before you allowed yourself to explore all this. So you are not that same person. You can pretend, but you see, you can't really lie to yourself. You can't. Not really. I mean, you can say it. You can pretend, no, everything is okay. No, I'm staying here. So it could be that we're talking here about relationships. It could be about work, right? So you have some ambitions. It could be about creativity. You want to explore yourself as an artist, as a writer, as a musician, as whatever, and you are not stepping into that because of all this. But now those doors have been opened, and now you know that you can go there. So you cannot go back. And even if you decide, sooner or later, you will have to be honest with yourself, and you will have to either carry on living a lie, or eventually say, I have to be brave enough here, and I have to live that truth that I want to live, who I really am. I have to be authentic. I can no longer live a lie, because this is so hard when we are not ourselves. It cannot last, and of course it's not going to make you happy. So you are choosing to live a miserable life, because you cannot be fulfilled when you are lying in that way, right? So this is what you cannot go back on a personal level. And I have coached so many people, and as you know, most people, they are so happy that they have finally gone through that. You know, they've stepped up, or they've now allowed those doors to open and to walk through those doors. They are so happy about that, and they feel so fulfilled. It's definitely the best result. But on a couple of occasions, yes, there are some people at the beginning, it was that fear, all this fear that I've said to you. So they stopped. But eventually, 2-3 years later, guess what? They have actually done it. because we can only sustain those lies, or sustain that for so long, and then eventually we have to do it. Or in a way, it's like our soul, our spirit is dead, because we are just going through the motions. It's survival, it's not living. So this is what happened, and this is what happened to me. Now, one of the times where major change is when I decided I no longer want to live like this. It's over, this is it. And I then decided I'm out of this relationship. And that was the first big one, right? So I decided I'm going for a divorce. But between the time where my eyes were open, because we started going to counseling together, and so many things, I saw so many things, and my eyes were open, and oh my gosh, between that time and when I eventually, because I was in that position after a whole year, and I thought, I know what I'm really supposed to do here, but I didn't do it. I didn't do it because there were so many fears, so many insecurities, and I stopped myself. But guess what? Eventually, 3 years later, that was it. You know, it's 3 years living suffocated, knowing that I cannot keep on lying to myself. And what happens then is that it's almost like you're attracting the opportunities, however you are doing it, whatever comes your way to support you in your decision. When you decide, yeah, I definitely have to step up and do this, and you know, whatever it is, you will find things. So let's just say, if it's in your work and you have that ambition and you have stopped yourself, eventually something might happen at work, and in reality you lose that job, which makes you then decide, be at that place where, well, I might as well go for this dream. You know, however we do it, however it's manifested in our life, it will happen. And so, as I said, 3 years later, I decided, that's it, I'm doing it. Now, just because you decide this is it, I'm doing it, there is still a process. So, of course, that process can be very messy. It's not just, I've decided this is it, I'm going to be me, I'm going to be free to be me and stop the bullying, stop my insecurities, stop all this. No, because then there is that process. So, the process was that then I stepped back into coaching. I mean, it was different coaching. I mean, this time it really was result. It was just me, and it was absolutely amazing. And I started all the healing and you know, being free, connecting with my freedom, with the love for myself, started understanding about self-love. And of course that took time. Now in that process, guess what? There was still messy things happening to me, because my learning and accepting all this new truth for myself, it meant that I was being challenged by other people, because guess what? That old part of me wasn't going to give up so easily. So I had to then come against some of my limiting beliefs, some of these truths that were presented to me through other people who were still, you know, pushing against all these limiting beliefs, not being very nice to me, still lying to me or cheating or doing whatever, because I was going through that process. And at the time I thought, oh my gosh, this is still so messy. But I continued, because I knew where I wanted to go. Now, it's not that it's just a destination, but what it is that you are going higher and higher in that frequency, in your spiritual growth, in your happiness, and that's how it is. So yes, the process seemed absolutely awful at some times, but it was so positive. It really was, even if I felt that it wasn't when I was living it. but it was. And this is why we can look back and think, wow, now I get it. Now I know why it happened that way. And I'm so happy actually that it happened that way. Or it could have happened so many different ways. There are so many like infinite possibilities. So it doesn't matter which one was presented. What matters is that I went through it because I was there knowing that being me, being free to be me, understanding what that was and getting there was what I was here for. Now, this is on a personal level, but we all go through more or less this growth if we decide, of course, to do that, or to be free to be ourselves and to look into that, to feel that we are fulfilled. As a collective, well, guess what is happening right now? We have been asking as a collective, as a human race, for so long, thousands of years, for happiness, for peace, for love, to stop wars, to live in a place where there are no wars, to live in a place where there is honesty, joy, happiness, unity in that love frequency. That's really what we've always wanted, because we are the essence of love. So guess what? We've always been what some people chase, as I said, chasing love. Now, of course, we don't chase because love is within us. But because we have been manipulated, we have been controlled by other different forces, whatever it is, we've got ego consciousness, we've got this evil consciousness. We have been manipulated, conditioned, programmed. It's almost like we've been losing sight of who we really are. And somehow we've all been asking for this. Every year, what do we want for this year? Peace on earth, love, unity, connection. This is what we want. This is our deepest desires. So as a collective, it's the same. This is what we're asking for. Well, guess what? When the oppressor oppresses us more and more and more, and gets to the point where we either do it, or we're just being too oppressed, we can't do anything. This is where we step up, and that's it. And the process is equally messy, and probably even more, because now it's on the collective, it's everybody. But what happens is that our eyes are being opened, because suddenly we talk about the Great Awakening, but let's face it, awakening has been happening for so long, right? And some of us have been on a personal life, we've been awakening for a long time. It's almost like you look around and you think, well, what about everybody else? Are they not understanding or understanding or connecting with that as well? Are they not connecting with what love means, with what all this other outside of this physical body, what it is? And so you're looking around and you're waiting for everybody to get you in that way. But this is what it is that we've now have been opening our eyes. Our eyes have been open for even more people now, even more people. And what happens when I say your eyes have been open, it means that what you see now in front of you are all these things that maybe, like on a personal level, we didn't really want to see quite, because when you see it, you then feel you have to do something about it. But now we know so much more in the open, if you want to find it. And now, anyway, this year, this is what I'm saying, is that we have come away from all the lies. So it was deceits and lies, and the fear, the manipulation, the greed, right? Greed of a few and manipulating us. We want to move away from the manipulation that they've been putting on us for so long, because they wanted to divide us. All this is coming up now, and we can see it so much more. They're still, obviously lying, and some people, they're still not seeing that, but it does not stop the process. And the process is here because we can all see it, we can all feel it, right? So going through a process in order to do what? Well, to come away from those things that we didn't want to, just like on a personal level, when we were saying where we wanted to be, or at least how we wanted to feel, we were coming away from certain things. So on the collective, what we are coming away from is especially what has come up this year. Because what has come up this year more and more is what we have been fooled with. So for instance, division is exactly what they've been doing for so long. And this is why we are seeing more and more division right now. And guess what they've done for so long? Guess what how they have been dividing us? Well, black against white. Yes, of course it was something that existed, but if you think about the bully, the oppressor, who is using something to continue that battle, and they're observing it and they're liking it because of how people in that love frequency, they are in a way more on, because they've been programmed, because they have been manipulated, they have been conditioned, they have believed that this division is real. But how many of us now, what we want is to go forward in love. So please get more into that togetherness, in that ethnicity, togetherness, because so many of us now are fed up with that thing that they put on us, that we are automatically we are racist if we don't do things their way. You don't have to keep on talking that. You've got to walk the walk. So embrace that. Speak of unity between races and show that, promote that. Isn't that more beautiful than always trying to get people divided and fighting among themselves? So because we have been asking for that unity, this is what now we are seeing, because they're presenting it to us. And so with that, it's the same, men and women. I mean, I have something on specifically on that, because you can see through that. I had something years ago, because you can see through that. Who is promoting this division again and again instead of promoting unity, right? So they have that. Then they have East against West and South against North. And I mean, the list goes on and on, on and on. And we have been prisoners of that manipulation, of that programming that they have put on us. So because we wanted out, even if we didn't really, not everybody spoke that out, but deep down, everybody has wanted, as I say, that love, that peace, the vibration of happiness for the world. And so because this is what we've wanted, it's presented to us a certain way. We might not like it, just like on the personal level. We might not like it in that way, how we're learning, how we're coming away from that oppressing place. But it doesn't stop that we are coming away from that. And so this is what is happening now. So, it's so many of those programs that we are coming away from, that we don't want with us, and they cannot even follow us in that higher dimension. It can't follow us there. So the thing is that once we start, so just like on a personal level, we asked for something that we call better, but we ask for more happiness, more love, for fulfillment. We want to feel at peace, happy in ourselves, in our own life, with people who get us, who understand us. And of course, then what is presented is that you have to start with yourself. I mean, I remember when, yes, it's easy to see what's been happening to you on the outside, but I had to start with me. And so on the collective, each one of us, it's got to start with ourselves. Each one of us, we cannot stand back and just pretend that it's all right, the world is going to do it for me, because we are all responsible for our own ascension, our own, getting to the higher frequency of love. We have to do it, each one of us. And this is why now it is how it is. We are all called to show where we are standing. Are we going towards that love? Are we staying in fear? Are we staying in that blame? Are we staying in that place that where we have been living? And we can't really, as a collective, we cannot go back to what it was like before 2020, because this is what we've wanted to dismantle. This is what we've wanted to look at, and we have to face it. Just like when you are doing it on a personal level, just you still have to face that. Even when other people have wronged you, that's fine, but it still starts with you. So of course it's very difficult to move forward, as I said, even on a personal level, because you are now going a little bit on to the unknown. And this is what is happening on a collective now. We are going to continue on that trajectory that we started last year. We are not going back. People who are saying, I want to get back to normal. You can't never get back to that old normal, because it doesn't exist anymore. It just does not exist. We are now moving towards that frequency that we've been asking for so long. So this is what it is. And I understand that we fear whatever is presented right now, because we don't know where it's taking us. And some of us are excited, but it still doesn't stop us from feeling, that still that human, that ego consciousness a little bit. Wow, are you sure you want to go there? Are you sure? But this is what we are going. This is what we are going. This is what we are doing. All of us. We are going towards that place that we have been asking for in our deepest desire. We are going up to that higher frequency of love. And because we are going there, we have got to leave behind those things that cannot exist in that place. They just cannot exist. So like on your personal level, when you are moving to that better place that you call it, you have got to let behind some of your beliefs, some of those truths that you had, some of those programs that you had. You've got to, because they cannot follow you there. You cannot have a foot here and there at the same time. Eventually you have to choose, and this is what is happening now. The gap this year is going to be more and more. We're going to see it more and more from that old normal that we had. Now it's moving and probably a lot faster, and some people are not very comfortable in that, but this is where we are. And it's so optimistic, it's so hopeful. I know that right now we are in that really muddy place. I remember my therapist, my coach, healing teacher at the time explaining to me, listen, when you are going through such a big transformation, what is that transformation? You go from one place or one state to another state. From that place of feeling anxious, feeling depressed, feeling, that I don't want to do this anymore, wherever you are, to a loving place. That is a transformation. So she said, what happens? Think about it in a very practical way. You have dirty dishes, you have, and you want them clean. You put them in the water and you are cleaning them, but the water is all mucky, isn't it? It's not very nice, because at the time, because you are washing all this, everything just comes away, right? And so you look at the water and it looks absolutely awful. It's not very nice, but the cleaning, the washing is in process. It is happening. We might not see it, but it is happening. And then you get the dish out, you rinse it, and wow, and it's clean, it's beautiful. And I remember she said, that was, as I say, years ago, something like 16 years ago. I remember her saying that, and I thought, yeah, that is true. Of course, there is that process. Of course, there is that time. The transformation, we see it because it's not just like that. It's not instant. So the transformation, as we see it, the stages are not, it doesn't go from dirty to clean. So the stages might be perceived as, oh, well, it's still not very clean, is it? Even though I'm cleaning it, but it is being done. It is being done. And this is what we have to remember right now. It might not look like it because it's still inside that water, it's being processed. But we are getting there, because we are already there washing all this, and it's got to come out. Everything has got to leave that dirty plate or the dishes, right? So everything has got to get out of that, and this is what's happening. Because when we get to that next stage of that freedom, that love, that cleanliness, like in the dishes, it's all fallen away, and then we'll see the result. So we are not going back to this old normal. Don't even think about it. It's impossible. And some people will fight it, just like it took me 3 years. Once I really knew, my eyes were open, I knew, but I just could not do it. At the time it was very difficult. I could not do it. I'm not too sure that I could say I was fighting it, because I wasn't, but I was trying to process it and thinking, yeah, I know I can do this. Yeah, I can do this. And the more you are there and you know that you cannot go back, it's presented before you to you, and no, gosh, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do this anymore. And this is what we are now. We cannot be in that toxic place anymore as we were before, with all that fear, that greed, that manipulation, those lies, everything that we were so desperate to come away from, that division. And it's happening a lot now because it's being processed. That's why. But we are in that process now. We are going to get to that next stage. How long is it going to take? I have no idea. But we have, just like my last video where I put about being the beacon of light, we need to hold our torch and keep going. Keep going. We are all the light, and more lights are going to be, wow, yes, I get it now. I get it. And it's not on the intellectual level. It's not going to happen there, because let's face it, how many times are we presented with facts? All you have to do is on your health level. People know smoking is going to affect them badly. They know all the facts. You can give them all the facts. That doesn't stop them, right? What stops them is something very different, very, very different. It's on a deeper level. It's not on the intellectual level. It's not that. That is not going to do it. So you can tell people all you want about what is happening and what is evil and what they have been doing, and presenting them with the facts and what is going on right now, and giving them facts and putting that in front of them, the figures and how that doesn't add up, and that this is not what the reality that they believe it is, that it's beyond that, and they can't see it because they are still on that intellectual level. They are still on that ego dimension, that third dimension. And so they need to connect on a spiritual level. They need to connect with their heart. And this is what we are doing. It's going to be more obvious that so many of us are on the higher dimension, and we still look around and love the people who are there, who are still at the back there, not really coming with us yet. But we need to carry on, and it's okay. It's okay. The transformation is it's wonderful, magical, wonderful. It's just so great. It's just so unbelievable right now when we see that, at the end. But while the transformation is happening, it's a messy time. It is a messy time. It's not so clear on, we can't see the results clearly because we are not there yet. But we are never going back to that old normal. But it's okay. It's a good thing. It's a good thing because now we know so much more. And what we are doing is developing that loving place for everyone. But a loving place, not a place that used to have, or we used to have, that used to exist. So yes, it is, as much as some people have lost their lives, and like in any war, this is a spiritual war. Like in any war, it's messy, it's horrible. It is horrible. If you go back and you look at some of the photos of like World War One, where, oh my gosh, it was awful, absolutely awful, and so many young people left their lives there. This is what happens. This is a spiritual battle, and the deaths are on, very different from then. But what we are saying is that we are all warriors of light. We are the beings of light, and we have to carry on with that light. We owe it. We owe it. Yes, some people don't believe in that. It's not my responsibility to wake somebody up. Well, listen, I'm not saying it's your responsibility to get somebody to wake up. But it is our responsibility. It is for us, because we are all connected, to be together. This is nothing to do with you as an individual. That's ego consciousness speaking. We are now elevating ourselves to the higher frequency of love. And yes, we are all connected, and we are all here for each other. So we are all warriors together. And some of our brothers and sisters are not coming with us on this physical plane, but that doesn't mean they're not with us. This is about love. And it is about seeing a better world where there is no war anymore, no division, no, you are a different race from mine, or you are a different gender, or you are young and I am old, or you are, there won't be any of that. This is what we've been asking for so long. So we are not going back to that. We are going to a better place. We are already on that trajectory, and there is no going back. But it's good. So that's what I really wanted to explain to you with this. And if anybody is feeling that they're really now, because you feel that, how you know is that you really feel that desire, deep desire to connect with other beings of light, to connect on that loving frequency. So please, if anyone listening to this is at that point and you're not too sure who to reach out to, how to connect with other people, please leave comments here send messages, you know, wherever you've seen this, if it is on the YouTube channel or anywhere else, please connect with me, connect with the community. I will leave a link here for the membership, the community that I have. And please leave comment, leave messages, because we are all in this together, and more of us will have that desire to connect, and we are getting there. And it is magical time. It is such a wonderful time to be living at the moment, and that's all I want to say right now. But I hope to hear from you. And keep going. We are getting to that love place a lot faster than we have been for a long time. So keep going, and wherever you are, I am sending you lots of love. We are all in this together, and it's a wonderful time to be together. Okay, so until next time, I am sending you lots of love. Bye bye.